Welcome everyone to this Glappitnova conversation. We have some awesome people to explore a little question today, once again. So today, our question is, I'll jump into the question and then introduce our fine guests today, or let them introduce themselves. But our question today is going to be, at what time in your recent past have you felt the most passionate and alive? So think about that question, audience, everyone, and we'll go in real quick. We'll start at the top. Ross, would you mind giving us a little introduction?
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much for having me. Really great to be here. Um, well, I don't know where else I'm going to be right now. physically,
Exactly. Exactly.
physically here, but great
Yeah.
to be here digitally with Glappitnova. And yeah, I'm Ross. I'm the founder of Roaming Hunger. It's an online marketplace for food trucks and catering across the country, and we help people connect with food. So not a lot of events happening right now. It's an interesting time, but yeah, I'm 35 years old, I think, 35 still. Got two kids, a dog, and a lovely wife, and we live in Los Angeles, California.
Nice, nice. Me too, me too. Alexis, would you mind
Yeah,
telling us a little
hi.
more?
Hi, my name is Alexis Brown. I am the founder of Serving Life Behind Bars and Causing a Stir. I'm based here in Chicago. I'm 30 years old. I'm going down all the questions that everybody else answered, like where are you from? What's your name?
Yeah.
How old are you? Do you have kids? No. um, yeah, things are rough right now for us. Beverage consultants, restaurant employees, hospitality professionals. Yes, it's tough. I do cocktail consulting for restaurants and bars. I do hospitality trainings and beverage classes, beverage instruction. And yeah, I mean, it's tough right now. It's tough right now. We're kind of just like, and as an independent contractor, right now it's really, really hard to grasp what's going on.
Agree. It looks like we're all in the same boat. I am an actor out here in Los Angeles, which means that I work most of the time as a server at a restaurant. So it looks like all of us are in a similar boat here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Dominique Worsley. I'm an actor. Like I said, I'm out here in Los Angeles, like you, Ross. I used to live in Chicago, Alexis. I do jujitsu as well, and yeah, all that good stuff. But why don't we, I guess, just dig into this question here? Um, at what time in your recent past have you felt the most passionate and alive? Um, I guess I'll start. For me, I feel like when I feel the best is when I'm kind of working on my own stuff as an actor. The most specific time I would say was, man, most passionate was a play that I worked on a couple years ago in Orange County. Um, it was an amazing project. Uh, yeah, I would say that's it. There's not a ton of theater out here in Los Angeles, so I find myself kind of missing that aspect of acting and stuff. But that's just to jump in. That's just my sort of, it's just sort of like a little quick thought. But we'll go back to the top. Ross, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I think the state of myself in the world right now. It's a good time to ask it, and I had to ask myself that question. So I thought a lot about it, and I thought back about a month ago as things really started to become clear that my life as I knew it was going to change, and it was really difficult. And it was sleepless nights and um, really a level of stress and anxiety that I personally I'd never felt that level of stress before. And from whatever from for whatever that means, and there's probably a lot to unpack there, but it was a moment that was really tough. We have about 50 employees, and I feel very responsible for their livelihood. And we work with 18,000 small businesses across the country, and I feel very responsible for uplifting an entire industry, and a lot of immigrants and people who are poured their life savings into their businesses, and a lot felt like it was kind of falling on my shoulders. to figure out. And it was before I think I had come to the recognition that this was going to impact everybody. And what is this? What does it mean? So I went through, really interesting time of sort of thinking and going really deep into, what have I done? What do I want to do in the future? And I went to a hard place for a little while. And I took my kids to a park, and we went skateboarding and biking. And we had to get out. We went out of the house. It was my daughter's birthday weekend. We went to a park, and I got on a skateboard. I used to skateboard growing up, and I very rarely get on a skateboard now. So I got on a skateboard, and I was riding, and I fell, and I caught myself. And in that moment, I kind of just snapped. And I was like, oh, actually, I'm not dying. Everything else is a problem that I can figure out. This is going to be a new challenge for me. And from that position, okay, I'm not dead. What do I want to do? What do I want to do next? So for me, the answer was about a month ago. There's a moment where I felt very lucky that I got to say, okay, hey, I'm okay. My health is okay. Knock on wood, my kids are okay. Family's okay. Now what? What am I going to do? And since then, it's still hard, but I've been just mentally on fire, thinking about, okay, what am I going to do next? What's my next chapter going to look like? So.
That's great. That's amazing. No, and the question, your answer ties into obviously we're all in this weird position of being stuck at home, and the things that most of us are probably passionate about, or most of the things that a lot of us are passionate about, we are kind of disconnected from. Like, there's no acting going on right now. There's not really much, there are no bars open.
No events.
There's no events.
Parties.
You know what I mean? There's no jujitsu. There's no wrestling. There's nothing. No parties. Right. That's great. Alexis, what are your thoughts on the question? Initial thoughts, whatever.
Yeah. On the question, initially, it definitely goes back. This is a traumatizing time right now. But just a year ago, I went through another traumatizing event. So I like to go back before that. And it takes me to 2018, end of 2018, on a work trip to France with Hennessy, and doing some consulting on a project to bring more accessible trainings and education to hospitality professionals in Chicago on the South Side. That was kind of the last project that I worked on that really, I felt very, passionate about. And then, going to find, having the opportunity to lend my insight, and also in France. And I just remember, that was my first time to Paris, and my first time seeing how cognac is made. So I felt very alive, because it was a new experience. It was something that I had never, I only read about in books, and I only saw in videos or on TV. So to, have it firsthand made me feel very alive. And to know that I was sent there for work, they hosted me well. Just the whole experience. We also ended up celebrating my best friend's 30th birthday. So it was very, very memorable across the board. I got to, have it in communion with friends. So we all had our, experience together, but then also my own professional experience, and kind of exploring the space by myself, solo, after everyone left. So it coupled in, that passionate aspect, and feeling really alive, like a new experience, and wanting to come back with all of this to share with others, and, use that.
Wow, that sounds like quite an experience. So you had the combination of communing with great friends, celebrating a huge milestone of their, you said 30th or 31st birthday?
Yeah, it was her 30th birthday.
30th birthday. And then also, it seems like it's a huge thing to feel like a skill that you have, that you've built and that you're passionate about, and people needing that skill, at a really well-renowned liquor company, that builds for an amazing, experience. So no surprise that you felt great about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a good place to go, but I mean, yeah, obviously we all find ourselves in this situation. As I said, we're all locked down. And something that I've noticed from these conversations, and the last one that I did, is it seems like the conversations that we have, regardless of what the question is, it kind of gives an opportunity for other people to, I don't know, sort of weigh in, or we're trying to like break down a problem. And kind of the issue with this question right now, that I see at least, is it's tough to, how do we get back to some of that passion? You know what I mean? How do we get back to some of that, I don't know, that liveliness when we're all kind of stuck in this position?
I, I
Sorry,
think it's
please.
I think actually, it's an opportunity to move forward or move up or elevate, and not necessarily look back. I think Ross mentioned something just like, where do we go from here? I think that's the mind frame to, shape this. Where do we go? How do we elevate ourselves from here? We look back on the past to, configure and make sure that we don't make the same mistakes, or, just use those past experience to propel us forward. So it's like you can create that. We're shifting into something different. We're shifting into something new. It's emerging. So I think that we can create whatever we want out of this opportunity. And I like to be optimistic and look at it like that. Like, all right, everything happens kind of for a reason. We're here now. This is like kind of like Control Alt Delete. What kind of plugins are we plugging in now? Like based off of all of the systems and stuff that we've had before. So that's how I'm like looking at it. And that's why I'm just kind of taking everything day by day, to see, what happens. What can we do? Just kind of like taking this time to be, listen, and be still.
I like that. Ross, did you have anything to add in there?
Yeah, I love that. And I think that stillness of the mind and being able to work on that right now and trying to go inward instead of outward. We're always, I believe for myself, I'm always going outward. I'm always talking to people and trying to figure things out, and relationships and, this and that all together. It's a moment where, how do I get really good at just shutting up? It's hard. It's hard. And so I'm, in a time where it's more challenging, and whether that's meditation or just catching yourself in a moment, and how do I feel right now? But in a time where there's so many feelings to be felt and so much stimulus in the headlines, what we're reading, and uncertainty, I think that those moments of, okay, well, how am I going to do? How am I going to sail through these waters mentally? I think it's a great challenge.
Yeah, that is. I like the kind of sentiment that you're both are bringing up, is kind of using this opportunity as like a cocoon phase, a way to kind of reevaluate, like you said, search within, opportunity. There's opportunity for growth there, and it's really hard to not know when we're going to be back at it, back to normal. But it's helpful to kind of think about what you want to do differently, in your routine or in your life, or whatever that might be. I like that a lot. Yeah. Trying to find that. No, I'm just trying to think. I don't want to get too far away from the question, but I mean, I think that's important. You know what I mean? Like I said, with all of us being locked down, how do you stay in touch with your passions, even though most of us, I think all three of us here, kind of, I mean, aside from family, you know what I mean? I'm talking passion, like, what kind of more career, hobby sort of oriented passion, but it doesn't have to be limited to that. But yeah, I like that. I think that's the best answer, though. Like you both said, is kind of reassessing everything and reprogramming in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm trying to think right here. Ross, in regards to, yeah, sort of, will you remind me, your most passionate time was about a month ago, you said, right? Was it specifically tied to work stuff, or?
Yeah. And you know, for me, it was in a moment of, you know, everything is potentially gone.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on my business for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so taking a look and saying, okay, well, I have to just move forward as if it's been eliminated. And now I have to take everything that I've learned and everything that I know and make some decisions on what do I love, what am I going to do, and what are we going to do with my team and with the people I work with every day. And that passion, to me, I've had some realizations off of that, is that I love building. I love building things, and for me, getting to a point where things were sort of built for, you know, how whatever they were pre this. Um, Maybe not, you know, I enjoy, I think, the building phase. It's just my nature. So getting in and being able to build again, it feels good. It feels like something I can really dig into.
I like that. That's great. And you know, it seems like yeah, it's really nice that your passion is also about the people that are involved in your company, you know, that are kind of, you know, not that you're responsible for, but you know, that seems like a good driving factor for kind of, yeah, your unique, you know, passion,
Oh,
or you know.
yeah. I mean, we're learning right now, right? All businesses are only people, right? There's nothing else in a business besides the people, right? Whatever it is, you make something physical, somebody made that. You provide a service, somebody's providing that service. It's only people. We're seeing that right now as it's falling apart. It's just
Jeez. Yeah, sorry, a little frozen there, but I think we heard everything.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's who knows? It's probably, maybe it's my internet. I don't know. Maybe it's my aurora borealis behind me. Who knows? Um, uh, Alexis, kind of just, you know, thinking about the future going forward. Is there maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking, I'm excited for you to kind of have another Hennessy trip or something, or maybe I don't know.
Can I come on the next one? That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Hey, we'll put it together, Ross. We'll put it together. Maybe we should do a show. But look into the future for me. I think about, I have a lot of things that I'm thinking about right now. Just as far as like essentialism and seeing what is essential now, and using that as a template for, you know, creating something useful and resourceful, is what I've been thinking about. But as far as like, I just don't know how things are gonna, what it's gonna look like in the future. So I'm just taking it easy. I'm doing things that I haven't normally been able to do because of the hustle and bustle and the you know, the nature of the business, like, you know, reading and researching things outside of the industry, understanding how other industries work together and the economics of it. So as far as the future, like, I know that it'll be like kind of like 3.0 at this point. Whatever I come out as, or whatever my creativity lens. But passion, like finding new passions, like I've been involved in a lot of different things. So like I have a theater background, I have a you know, like I'm really in art and art history. So I don't know, I've been trying to figure out how I can, you know, put all of my interests and passions into one thing, whether that is, you know, blog. I don't know at this point. I don't know. I wanted to go on the blog, and I'm not a good writer though. I'm a good talker though. I like having a conversation like, oh, where have you been? Oh, I'd like to go there too. What do you know about it? So, I mean, I don't
Do a
know what
video
the
blog
future
then,
holds.
of a vlog.
Yeah, a vlog, yeah. But no, but I can't, I have to be there, so we can't travel yet. So we have to wait until we can travel again, when we can go places. Then, because then, you have to show the stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like I say, I'm just taking it day by day and trying to work on me internally. I've been, like I said, doing the other things. Cooking is another thing that I've been doing more of, and putting putting some of that stress into the food, or releasing the stress by cooking the food, rather than not putting it in the food. We're putting love in the food. Putting love.
Yeah, you might not want that in the
Yeah.
food. Yeah.
No, you don't want that in there. You don't want to eat that. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what the future. I'm still weathering it right now.
Hey, Ross and Alexis, quick question. What is some of the great strategy? We're all in this situation with COVID-19. It's kind of changed the way we traditionally have done business or interaction with folks. What is one of the most important things that you have learned in this current situation?
I love human interaction. I like, the energy that you get from new encounters. I miss that part, and I like people.
One thing that I've noticed is, this may be just during this time, people are really open to different ideas and different conversations at various levels. So I think this is a great time. Like, if you ever wanted to reach out to a CEO of a company or somebody that you admire, people have time right now. And a lot of the walls have been broken down in terms of, people go in and they put, there's a protector, they go to their castles at their offices, they put their suits of armors on, everybody's at home. There's something a little bit more chill about everybody right now, where I've noticed that the pretense is gone. You get on a Zoom like this, it's me at home, it's you guys at home, we're all at home. We just talk to each other differently. So I think one thing kind of cool is that, like, if there's someone that you've always wanted to reach out to, or something you've always wanted to explore, like, hit people up right now. Everybody has so much time. They're going to at least read it. So I think that's been kind of unique during this time.
I never thought about it like that, but this does open up our, humanness, and we're all kind of like on the same playing field, in a sense. Like, we're all experiencing this. We all have a unique perspective on it, and like you said, some people are in not vulnerable states, but they're, like you said, they're being more open to new things and new encounters. So I didn't think about it in that way.
Another follow-up question to play devil's advocate. We have a few more minutes left here. So what makes you not passionate? Is it the work? Is it the yes? Is it the no's? Is it that it's easy to accomplish? I know you both mentioned that you love to both build things and you like to experience new things. What makes it not passionate? Dive deep.
Well, I'll say not passionate, but the not so glamorous aspects of work.
Awesome.
That I don't mind not going back to. I would have to say is like the long hours. I think the first time in a long time I've been able to put myself first, because of the duty and the nature of the business. You're always thinking about someone else. You're always thinking about someone else's kind of like joy, or how they can be accommodated. So that's a more demanding part of the job, that during this time I've been able to kind of like focus on me and focus on my wants, and not always catering to someone else. So I've appreciated that in a sense, And I know now that I'll dedicate and make sure that I make more time for myself, even when the demand is high. I think if I can switch that around a little bit.
You, Ross or Dominique?
Ross, please.
Oh, sure. I think for me, I find myself not feeling passionate when things are easy. And if I already know the answer or it's something I've done, I get a little bored. So I think I need a challenge. I need to constantly be challenged. This might be not the challenge I would have selected right now. You gave me a basket of challenges to pick from. But I like to be challenged. I like to aspire. And I like to really try to achieve the most that I can. So that's the opposite of that is, when that doesn't happen.
And for me, I think something that kind of impedes my passion or feeling great about what I'm doing, I think in the acting world is kind of judging or feeling, it's more of a subconscious thing a lot of times, but kind of judging my self-worth based on the outcome in kind of like the art, you are what you book kind of feeling. It's hard to not feel that, I find, in Los Angeles, especially because, like I said earlier, there's not a lot of theater out here. In Chicago, you're kind of like climbing up the theater ranks, and there's like 10 shows filming in Chicago at any given time, and you audition every now and again. So you always kind of feel like you're doing something, you got your theater family and all that. But I feel in Los Angeles, it's really easy to feel kind of result oriented. And I think at that point, it just kills my passion. And I think that's kind of maybe the same anywhere, whether it's jujitsu, if I'm feeling like there's a certain milestone that I want, like, oh, I want my brown belt, or I want my black belt. I'm not really enjoying the journey. I'm more looking at the future, which is not even necessarily a real thing. It's not tangible. It's like kind of my imagination, And I think that kind of ties into what you were saying, Alexis, and you too, Ross. Right now, it's like we don't know what the future is, and in this science fiction book, Dune, that is one of my favorite books ever. It's like they have this saying that fear is the mind killer, and fear is a lot of fear is just kind of imagining the worst case scenario, the worst case future, or being unsure about the future. In what all of us have in common right now is that we are all unsure about the future, so I think that those are some of the things that impede my sort of passion and feeling good about, my stuff.
Yeah.
Are there any last words for everyone? Or what would you want the viewers that are watching live now or will be watching when we release the video podcast? What would you like to share with them right now in this exact moment?
I'll let somebody else go first. I need to gather my thoughts.
Go for it, Dominique.
Yeah, I would say, man, us being separated from each other, I think, and I'm not always the best at, keeping connected with my people, but I think us being forced apart, I hope that when we're able to come back together, that I don't know, we'll have a tighter bond, whatever that means, with each other, all across humanity. I don't know. That sounds lame, but yeah, that's what I hope. I don't know.
Nice. I told my kids that their entire lives, I said, for the next 100 years, people are going to be asking you about the coronavirus time and what you remember and what happened. And my wish for them is that when they tell the story, that it's a positive story. And my wish for everybody is that when they look back at this time, they say, yeah, it was really hard, but that was when I learned to do this skill, or I figured this out about myself. And when they tell the story of the time, they tell it, with sadness, but with maybe a smile as well.
There was a book that I read during a similar stressful, traumatic time last year for me. It was called The Courage to Create. And I think that it's a short book by Rollo May, a psychoanalyst, and he talked about where courage lies, where creativity lies, talking about our subconscious, our consciousness, and just how experiences mold art and mold new creation. And I just say my last few words is, during this time, hone in and build up your courage, and your creativity will spark something beautiful out of this, and you'll learn how to use your words and use your emotion to really put something beautiful and impactful and just a contribution to society coming out of this. So just take this time and be optimistic, and don't be hard on yourself. Those are my words.